Have you ever imagined what it would be like to start each day with a peaceful heart and a clear mind? Imagine carrying a super heavy backpack every day. Inside this backpack, there are stones of all sizes: worries, regrets, hurts, expectations, and fears. Now imagine meeting a wise man who looks at you and says, "You know you can leave these stones behind, don't you?" The question is not whether you can, but rather, which stones are you willing to let go of first to free yourself from this weight that prevents you from moving forward to a happy life? Often, we feel trapped in a suffocating routine, carrying the weight of past decisions and expectations that aren't even ours, relationships that drain us, habits that sabotage us, thoughts and fears that paralyze us. But what if I told you there is a way to break free from all of this? Today, we will explore 10 Stoic habits that can transform your days and consequently your life. Small changes that will not only help you face everyday challenges with serenity, but also promote a deep sense of balance and well-being. And it doesn't stop there. I will also share valuable Stoic lessons that allowed me to simplify my life, even amidst the chaos of daily life. Because the truth is, the clarity and inner peace you seek are not in the future. They begin here and now. But before we dive into these 9 steps, I want to know, which stone would you most like to remove from your backpack today? Leave it in the comments and stay until the end because, in the final habit, I will reveal a Stoic principle that can make you 1,000 times better and help you achieve a truly fulfilling life. Once you understand this concept, everything can change forever. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, activate the notification bell, and let's embark on this journey together. Habit number 1. Eliminate the fear of other people's opinions. Imagine waking up every day worried about what others will think of your choices, your clothes, your job, or even your dreams. This fear often paralyzes us and prevents us from living according to our true values. The Stoics have already warned, so we cannot control what others think, but we can control how we react to it. And the first stone you need to remove from your backpack is precisely this one: the weight of other people's opinions. Think about how many times you've avoided doing something you wanted because you were afraid of being judged. Maybe you postponed a project, avoided a difficult conversation, or even gave up on a dream because of what others might say. The problem is that, by doing this, you're handing over control of your life to people who, most of the time, aren't even really paying attention to you. Here's a practical tip. Start small. Practice saying no to something that doesn't bring you joy or value. It could be declining an invitation to an event you don't want to attend, or refusing a task that isn't your responsibility. Notice how, by doing this, you begin to regain control over your choices. Remember, you don't need to justify your decisions to anyone. Your inner peace is worth more than others' approval. Reflect on this. What are you avoiding doing because of the fear of judgment? How many opportunities have you missed because you were more concerned with pleasing others than yourself? The Stoics teach us that true freedom begins when we stop seeking external validation and start living according to our own principles. And this is the first step to putting your life in order. Now get ready, because in the next step, we will talk about something even more transformative: how to identify and eliminate the habits that are draining your energy and preventing you from moving forward. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 2. Identify and eliminate energy-draining habits. We all have habits that, even though they seem harmless, drain our energy and pull us away from our goals. It could be constantly checking social media, procrastinating, or even striving for perfection in everything we do. These habits act like black holes, sucking away our time and energy without us realizing it. And as the Stoics used to say, the key to a fulfilling life is focusing on what truly matters. Think about a typical day in your life. How many hours do you spend on activities that bring no real benefit? How often do you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your phone just to fill an empty void? These small habits, when accumulated, can represent a massive waste of time and energy. And the worst part, they distract us from what truly matters. Here's a practical tip. Make a list of the habits you identify as unproductive. Then choose one to eliminate or replace with something more meaningful. For example, Instead of spending hours on social media, how about dedicating that time to reading a book or practicing a hobby you love? Remember, small changes lead to big results over time. Reflect on this. What habits are holding you back? What could you accomplish with the time and energy you're wasting? The Stoics remind us that life is short and every moment is precious. So, don't waste your time on things that don't serve you. Now get ready, because in the next step, we'll talk about something that can revolutionize how you handle adversity. How to turn obstacles into opportunities. You won't want to miss. So habit number 3, turn obstacles into opportunities. Life is full of unexpected challenges and things don't always go as planned. But according to the Stoics, obstacles are not problems. They're opportunities for growth. They teach us that instead of complaining about difficulties, we can use them as a springboard to become stronger and more resilient. Imagine how your life would change if you started seeing every challenge as a chance to evolve. Think of a recent situation where you faced an obstacle. Maybe it was losing a job, going through a breakup, or a project that didn't work out. How? Did you react? Did you get overwhelmed with frustration? Or did you manage to find something positive in that experience? The Stoics believe that even in the worst situations, there's something to learn. And that's what makes us wiser and better prepared for the future. Here's a practical tip. The next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how can I use this situation to my advantage? This shift in perspective can completely transform the way you handle adversity. Remember, what matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens. Reflect on this. What obstacles are you currently facing? And how can you turn them into opportunities? The Stoics teach us that true strength doesn't come from avoiding problems, but from facing them with courage and wisdom. Now get ready, because in the next step, we'll talk about something that can completely change your relationship with time. How to live in the present and stop postponing your happiness. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 4, live in the present and stop delaying your happiness. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, I'll be happy when I have more money, when I get a new job, when I find the ideal partner? This type of thinking traps us in an endless cycle of waiting, as if happiness is something that can only be achieved in the future. But the Stoics remind us that true happiness lies in the now, in the present moment. Think about how you've been living your days lately. Are you enjoying each moment? Or are you constantly rushing to the next goal without pausing to appreciate what you've already accomplished? The truth is that life happens in the present, and every minute spent worrying about the future or dwelling on the past is a wasted minute. As Seneca once said, life is long if you know how to use it. Here's a practical tip. Set aside a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness. It can be during a meal, a walk, or even while taking a shower. Focus on what you're doing, feel every detail, and let go of distractions. This simple practice can help you reconnect with the present and find joy in the little things. Reflect on this. What are you postponing in order to be happy? What's stopping you from enjoying the present moment? The Stoics teach us that happiness is not a destination, but a journey. And that journey begins when you decide to fully live in the now. Now get ready, because in the next step, we'll talk about something that can completely transform the way you interact with those around you. How to set healthy boundaries and protect your energy. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 5, set healthy boundaries and protect your energy. How many times have you felt drained because you said yes when you really wanted to say no? Relationships, work, social commitments. We often end up overwhelmed because we don't know how to set clear boundaries. The Stoics teach us that true freedom begins when we learn to protect our energy and time. And that's only possible when we define what we are willing to accept and what we are not. Think about a recent situation where you felt overwhelmed or resentful for giving in to others' demands. Maybe it was a request from a coworker or a family member's expectations. How did you feel? And more importantly, what did you learn from it? Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's self-care. And as the Stoics said, you cannot help others if you are not well with yourself. Here's a practical tip. Start by identifying areas in your life where your boundaries are being crossed. Then practice saying no politely but firmly. For example, "I'd love to help, but I can't take this on right now." Remember, you don't need to justify your choices. Your inner peace is worth more than others' approval. Reflect on this. Where do you need to set clearer boundaries? Which relationships or situations are draining your energy? The Stoics remind us that true strength lies in knowing how to protect what's important to us without fear of displeasing others. Now get ready, because in the next step, we'll talk about something that can completely change the way you handle your emotions, how to master your reactions and find inner balance. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 6. Master your reactions and find inner balance. Imagine being in the middle of a heated argument, with your heart racing and your mind filled with negative thoughts. In these moments, it's easy to lose control and say or do things we later regret. But the Stoics teach us that, although we can't control what happens around us, we can control how we respond to it. And that is the key to inner balance. Think about a recent situation where you were carried away by your emotions. Maybe it was an argument with a loved one or frustration at work. How did you feel, and how could you have reacted differently? The Stoics believe that when we master our reactions, we gain power over our lives. And this starts with practicing self-awareness. Here's a practical tip. Next time you feel overwhelmed by emotions, take a deep breath and count to 10 before reacting. Use that moment to reflect. Will this reaction help me or harm me? Remember, you are not a slave to your emotions. You can choose how to respond to every situation. Reflect on this. What situations make you lose control? And how can you practice calm and serenity when facing them? The Stoics teach us that true strength lies not in avoiding emotions, but in mastering them with wisdom. Now get ready, because in the next step, we will talk about something that can completely transform how you view success and failure, how to embrace imperfection and find value in the process. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 7. Embrace imperfection and find value in the process. How many times have you given up on something because it wasn't turning out perfectly? Or pushed yourself so hard that you ended up paralyzed by the fear of failure? The pursuit of perfection is a trap that prevents us from moving forward and enjoying the journey. The Stoics remind us that life is full of ups and downs, and that true value lies in the process, not the final result. Think about a project or goal you abandoned because it wasn't going as expected. How did you feel at the time? And how would you feel if you had persisted, even knowing the outcome wouldn't be perfect? The Stoics believe that imperfection is part of life, and that often it is through mistakes that we learn and grow. Here's a practical tip. Next time you feel stuck in perfectionism, ask yourself, what's more important, doing this perfectly or simply doing it? Remember, progress, not perfection, is what truly matters, and every small step you take is a victory. Reflect on this. Where are you being too hard on yourself? And how can you embrace imperfection and find value in the process? The Stoics teach us that true wisdom lies in accepting that we are human, and that making mistakes is part of growth. Now get ready, because in the next step we'll talk about something that can completely change how you approach the future, how to plan without getting attached to expectations. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 8. Plan without clinging to expectations. How many times have you felt frustrated because things didn't go exactly as planned? Planning is important, but the Stoics remind us that life is unpredictable and often our plans need to be adjusted. The key is not to abandon planning, but to learn how to adapt when things don't go as expected. Imagine how much lighter your life would be if you could plan without being attached to expectations. Think about a time when you felt disappointed because something didn't happen the way you imagined. Maybe it was a canceled trip, a project that failed, or a goal you couldn't reach. How did you feel, and how could you have handled it more calmly? The Stoics teach us that true peace comes from accepting that not everything is within our control. Here's a practical tip. When making plans, always have a plan B. For example, if you're organizing an outdoor event, have a backup plan in case it rains. This not only reduces anxiety but also prepares you to handle unexpected situations more effectively. Remember, flexibility is one of the greatest Stoic Virtues. Reflect on this. Where are you holding on too tightly to expectations? And how can you practice acceptance and adaptability? The Stoics remind us that life is like a river. We can either swim against the current or learn to flow with it. Now get ready, because in the next step, we will talk about something that can completely transform how you view success, how to define what truly matters to you. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 9. Define what truly matters to you. In a world full of distractions and external expectations, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters. Often we chase goals that aren't truly ours, only to discover, in the end, that they don't bring us happiness. The Stoics teach that true wisdom lies in defining our own values and living according to them. Imagine what it would be like to live a life aligned with what truly matters to you. Think about a goal you pursued in the past that, once achieved, didn't bring you the satisfaction you expected. Why did that happen? Was that goal truly aligned with your values, or was it simply an external expectation? The Stoics believe that when we live according to our own principles, we find lasting peace. Here's a practical tip. Take some time to reflect on your values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? And how can I live in alignment with that in my daily life? Write down your answers and use them as a guide to make decisions that reflect who you truly are. Reflect on this. Where are you living according to external expectations instead of your own values? And how can you start changing that? The Stoics remind us that true happiness lies in living an authentic life. Now, get ready, because in the next and final step, we'll talk about something that can completely transform how you experience life. How to cultivate gratitude and find beauty in simplicity. You won't want to miss this. Habit number 10. Cultivate gratitude and find beauty in the simple things. How often do you find yourself complaining about life without noticing the little good things around you? Gratitude is one of the most powerful Stoic practices because it helps us find beauty and meaning even in the simplest situations. Imagine how much lighter your life would be if you could see the value in every moment, no matter how ordinary it seems. Think about an ordinary day in your life. What can you be grateful for? Maybe it's your breakfast, a stranger's smile, or the sunlight brightening your day. The Stoics remind us that true wealth isn't in what we own, but in our ability to appreciate what's already within our reach. And gratitude is the key to that shift in perspective. Here's a practical tip. Every night before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It can be something big or small, but the important thing is to practice the habit of recognizing the good in your life. Over time, you'll notice that gratitude transforms the way you see the world. Reflect on this. What do you have today that you would deeply miss if you lost it? And how can you express gratitude for it? The Stoics teach us that true happiness lies in appreciating what we already have, rather than chasing what we lack. So let's recap. We started by eliminating the fear of other people's opinions, then moved on to identifying and cutting out habits that drain our energy, transforming obstacles into opportunities, and learning to live in the present. We then set healthy boundaries, mastered our reactions, and embraced imperfection. We planned, without clinging to expectations, defined what truly matters, and finally cultivated gratitude to find beauty in the simple things. Each of these steps is a path toward a lighter, more meaningful and peaceful life. Now imagine 5 years from now, you're still carrying the same emotional weight, stuck in relationships that don't serve you, and repeating the same habits that keep you paralyzed. How would that feel? The frustration, the feeling of being stuck, that emptiness that won't go away. All of this can be avoided if you take action today. Life is too short to waste on what doesn't serve you. Every day you delay change is one less day to live the life you truly deserve. And you? Have you already identified something in your life that needs to be eliminated or transformed? Leave a comment. Which of these steps will you face first? Your experience can inspire others to begin their own journey of change. After all, we're all in this together, seeking a lighter and more meaningful life. If this video made you reflect or inspired you to take action, give it a like so more people can find this content. And if you're not subscribed yet, join our community. Click subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos full of practical wisdom. Remember, change starts with you, and we're here to support you every step of the way. See you next time.